How you going? I just made this spring trap from Clash of Clans, which is definitely the scariest thing I've ever made. So today I'm going to break some stuff with it, and possibly myself. Alright, now the spring trap from Clash of Clans doesn't work like a mouse trap or bear trap. In fact, it's kind of the opposite of
oh my god, it's an ad.
a trap. There's no trapping involved. It defeats the purpose of a trap, as it just throws whatever steps on it away or closer to you using a big spring. And big springs aren't even the best if you want to throw people in the air. My preferred method would probably be a car airbag, which would allow me to finally live out my dream of being in a live leak video. Or, the much more practical and safer option would be compressed air, which is favoured by the special effects industry when throwing Korean pop stars in the air. But Clash of Clans wants me to use a giant spring, and also not to throw Koreans, which is a shame, but also good, as a giant spring is going to be a lot more fun and dangerous. So I started by stealing 2 of these from a children's playground, and they are car suspension springs, which I think will work, as I've seen videos of them shooting a mechanic's apprentice across the room. And the plan is pretty simple. The spring is compressed in a box with a platform on top, essentially like a giant jack-in-the-box. And then when you step on the platform, the spring releases upwards with 500 kilos of force. And this drawing isn't to scale, by the way. And in the game, the trap is even able to launch giants in the air, so I'm just going to pretend a giant weighs less than 500 kilos. But as for launching a normal sized person, here's some maths my mate did, so you can't blame me if it's wrong. And he said it'll be enough energy to launch a 75 kilo person upwards at 65 meters a second. And to put that in perspective, this is that same 75 kilo mate eating a meat pie at 0.1 meters a second. Better slow down there. So the first thing I did was connect the 2 springs together with some clamps and duct tape and this big brace that I made to form a mega spring. Now the most difficult part of this build is going to be the spring release mechanism, as when it's compressed it's going to be very hard to hold down and also very hard to release under tension. And I was thinking of using the trigger mech from my last video, but it's definitely not strong enough. So instead I made this, and this should be able to release the spring even while it's under a high load. Then I also made this winch from a winch I bought online.
I really want to go to Australia. I miss these boys so much. Every time I watch a video from them, I'm like, fuck, man, I want to go to Australia. I miss them. Just to see these boys say, as good. I reckon. The spiders, mate, the spiders. It's also summer there, so like I like summer, you know? I think summer's chill.
Then I just welded up a box for it all to go in. And I also welded up a frame with a big pipe in the middle so that the spring will sit around.
My goal actually this month was to originally it was to go to Australia and then Japan, and then my family had different plans, you know? So, unfortunately, due to my family and my familial obligations to my family that I love so much that certainly can't hear me right now, I am going to be going somewhere else. I'm going to be going to Italy at the end of the month. Instead of going to Australia and Japan and see my friends and make content like I wanted.
Around it, and hopefully will be nice and comfy. And I also made this platform which will go on top so that it looks exactly like the level 5 spring trap from Clash of Clans. So we've got the winch underneath connected to my car battery pulling down the platform and springs. And then there is a quick release here connected to the pressure pad on top. So then when I wind down the winch, if someone steps on the trap, it goes off. And I think it's almost done, or done enough to do a proper test and see if the winch is even strong enough to fully compress the spring and then release it. And I know I say this a lot in every video whenever I do something dangerous, but this is by far the most dangerous thing I've ever done. The power in these springs is more than enough to kill me and my mate, the delivery man, and that guy that walks past my house and puts dog poop in my bin, and even you watching at home. And that's why I'm so excited to test this. But first, a little bit more about the sponsor and the reason I made this. Clash of Clans, which is an awesome strategy game where you build defenses, upgrade
Awesome.
your base, and attack other players. And Clash of Clans
awesome
is a new
strategy
update
game.
coming soon, and has an awesome event going on called Clash for Nature, which is an in-game competition with creators and you guys. It's split into two teams, which are the charities Team Trees or Team Seas. And I am on Team Trees to offset all the wood I use when making these videos. And all your in-game actions in the event will lead to planting trees and removing trash from the ocean in real life. Anyone can join the event, even if you haven't played Clash of Clans before. You just scan my QR code and then you get gold through multiplayer battles and looting other players' bases. And whichever creator and community that loots the most gold will also win a Tesla. So go get Clash of Clans now. Alright, back to testing the trap. And because my roof is too low in the garage, I took it to my mate's warehouse to test it out. But unfortunately, my camera didn't record, but luckily I have his mobile footage.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yep.
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
Oh!
No!
And that was
That's
very
ins-
impressive, especially considering those bags were filled with 20 kilos of lead shot each, so 40 kilos or 80 pounds of combined weight. But it's also kind of annoying, as originally I wanted to do the real test in my yard, but after seeing the power it has, I don't think I can, as I live next to a preschool, and 12 kilo springs and kids don't mix that well. So instead I'm going to drop it on one of you, and I went back to Hamilton's farm, who was nice enough to let me use it to spin up the giant Beyblade, and now he's going to let me use
Dude, every one of his fucking plans ends up being like, oh, we went out in the fucking wild. We went out in the wild and we let it rip in the wild. Oh, turns out there's a hiker there. Didn't realize. How's it going? Turns out. Every time he's like, oh, we went out to the bush and then we let it rip. And then we realized there was like actually humans walking
this
around.
monstrosity on his land. But first we had to dig up the ground. And we were about to start digging, but Hamilton thought of a really great idea to save time, and that was just to use part of this wombat hole to make it easier.
How do we tell if there's a wombat in here or not?
And this was his idea, not mine, so you can get angry at him. And unlike the wombat, the leeches were very happy to see us digging, and in a matter of minutes we had 10 or so on our feet, which I won't show you. Okay, that was pretty easy. So we put it in the ground with some grass around it to make it look like it belongs here. And I just realized the worst case scenario for this trap, only after putting it in the ground. And that would be that when
Dude, the weather is so shit. Is this what the weather looks like in Australia right now?
we winch the platform all the way down and then pull the quick release, it doesn't release. And then we are stuck with a loaded trap buried in the ground. And I guess we could also reverse the winch, but there's a chance that that doesn't work. And then I have
Also, why is there fucking leeches on the ground? Yeah, they're flooding real bad. That's amazing weather, you Leozard fuck. What is a Leozard? Yeah, I don't like rain, man. I think it's nice when it's fucking, you know, sunny and warm and shit.
no idea what we'll do. Maybe we can just leave it on Hamilton's farm until it goes off naturally. Also, another potential problem, since I'm using my car battery, if I use the winch for too long and it draws all the power, we are then stuck here on the farm.
Recording?
Yep.
What if it hits them?
Ah. Well, now you just have a trap.
But luckily none of that was a problem for us, as it didn't work. So I tried again.
3, 2.
And somehow the winch bent the quick release, which I spent over an hour
It would be really funny if he died doing a Clash of Clans ad. Like there are so many better ways to go out. Like he died doing what he loves in a whimsical manner, trying to put out a Clash of Clans ad.
hour fixing while leeches were crawling up my leg.
3, 2. That wasn't even high.
Wait, it pulled itself out of the ground.
Oh, wow.
and I wasn't happy with that at all. The melon didn't go very high, unlike the spring trap, which almost jumped completely out of the ground, and so did the spring out of its cage. This guy here is meant to be on the outside of the pipe, but you can see that, look, it's now on the inside of the pipe. Okay, and I realized pretty quickly that
That's probably why it
wasn't going to be able to fix the problem on Hamilton's farm, so I took it back home to figure out. But then I realized it was worse than I thought, and the spring was actually stuck under tension, which made trying to fix the problem terrifying, which is why I called my mate over to stick his face really close to the high-powered spring. You! And I'm not completely sure what happened, but I suspect it may have been the heavier wooden platform on top, which caused the spring to overextend and get caught on the inside sleeve. As when we tested it in my mate's workshop, we did it without the platform on top. But eventually we figured out what we needed to do, and my mate cut out some wedges on the bandsaw. And then we shoved them in and hit the whole thing with a hammer until it came loose. Nice, now I got a nice sharp stick that can fly out. Beautiful.
Wait.
Yeah.
Isn't it gonna fucking go bang? Isn't it gonna explode?
So close. Yes. It's so close. Yes.
Got it.
So I re-welded on the support in a way that hopefully doesn't get caught, and also made a lighter platform, and then set it up in my yard because I can't be bothered to go back to the farm.
That's crazy. So he's just said, fuck the preschool. Bro, there ain't no... Is that blast-proof glass? There is no fucking shot. He literally has glass around his goddamn... Regular-ass glass around his goddamn pool. If that shit breaks and falls into his pool, he has to literally dump all the water out. Clean it up. And then put the water back in. That's an incredibly... Oh, my God. No. Oh, it blew up. Oh. It vaporized. How? Wait, is
And that
there
split
another?
the melon in half just from the impact of the launch, but it didn't go that high.
It separated the springs again. It broke the weight, and it's stuck again.
And also the spring did its thing again, but this time even worse.
You're not meant to be on the inside. You're meant to be on the outside like the others.
So now I'm once again shoving a chisel into a loaded car suspension spring, expecting it to shoot through my head at any moment. And I fixed that, but then discovered some other mysterious damage, like the cable that had almost snapped, and also this bolt hole which is somehow completely squished. So once I fixed all of that, I set it up for another test with this mannequin, which I stuffed 3 bags of sand into so it weighs 60 kilos or 130 pounds. And I know you all want me to stand on top of this spring trap, and I will, if this mannequin looks like it survives the launch. Okay, that's not going to happen. The mannequin is too heavy and is bending the spring in weird directions. So instead I used this baby doll, which I stuffed with metal weights just like a real baby.
It didn't go that high.
And that didn't do much to the baby. I think I did way more damage when I was missing the trigger with the stick. So I tried again.
Wait, what? Anne?
And that was alright, although I feel like the spring trap uses its energy
Nothing.
to do more damage to itself than anything else I put on top of it. But if you want to see a spring trap working properly, go download Clash of Clans and scan my QR.
Bro, the Israeli government is going to see this new contraption and what it can do to a baby and immediately send him money. Okay? They're literally going to be like, this is for terror babies. This is the greatest terror baby contraption. This guy, he's so smart. It's a terror baby trap. We will put the Hamas babies on the terror baby trap and we will release them. This is for Hamas tunnels. No more stealth babies crawling on the ground.